That helps if it takes the lens cap off. Right, we'll take two. Right, welcome back. This is your questions answered. So I might get into doing a thing about this, your questions answered, do it as a series or something like that. So a lot of people ask me about the bucket. They said, you're always sitting on a bucket. You've done reviews on chairs. Don't you have the chairs anymore? Yes, I do. I have all 4 chairs. I have 4 chairs and I've got all 4. We've actually got about 7. But my dogs use 2 of them, and they're not really fishing chairs. They're sort of like cheap knockoffs. But my dogs started sitting in my little fox chair, if you've seen it. They loved that, so I bought them a cheaper version, and they are cheap compared to the fox one. They're cheap construction as well, but for the dogs they're fine. So the dogs have got them. We've also got a big chair that my wife uses, and then I've got 4 chairs that I use now. The reason I take the fox bucket is, which I'll show you in a minute, is because what I have inside it as well, and how I set the bivvy out. God, I don't even hear those alarms. They're not coming from me, honest. So yeah, I've got 2 chairs that are designed to go on beds, which I don't use very often, and mainly I use that in my 2-man bivvy, which I haven't used for. I've got a Fox Retreat 2-man plus. It's a massive bivvy, and it's lovely when you're in abroad or somewhere, or there's a couple of you going. It's really, really good. But that's when I use the 2 sort of bed chairs, bed buddies, whatever you want to call them. I've then got a Fox low chair, which I use quite a lot because it packs down so small, and it's so easy to set up and pack down and chuck under your bed or chuck in the back of the bivvy. I do like that one quite a lot. The only downside for me is it's quite low, which is okay. It's okay in the summer. I quite like it in the summer, but in the winter, I don't like being that low to the ground. And then I've got my other chair, what I use, which I don't carry so much because it's quite big. That one is only when I'm very close to the van, so I haven't got a sort of barrow with it. So I use the bucket a lot because I like things. People who follow the channel will know I like things that do 2 jobs, and my bucket, what I sit on, actually does 3 jobs for me. It's a seat, it's storage, and it's a bivvy table as well. So I'll get into and show you them now. So this is what I basically use. It's a 17-litre Fox bait bucket. I like it because it's got 4 jobs, which I'll show you in a second. It can be a seat, it can be a storage bucket, it can be a bivvy table, and it can be a toilet if you need it. So I keep my bits and spares and bits and pieces. So what I'll do is I'll show you inside that now. But the way I tell the difference from all the others, I'll come forward and show you, is I've got it stick it up. So you can see there, loads of my custom stickers. That way I can tell it apart from all my other buckets, basically. So this is my bivvy bucket. So in here, what I'll do is hopefully you can see that, is take the lid off. So in here I have basically a foxtail. I've got it folded in half, and what I do is I just have that basically just sat on top like that, just so you're not sat on the actual bucket itself. Makes a little bit warmer for your body. But Fox, I've got a cushioned cover coming out. It should be out end of this month. I think they've been waiting for another delivery. It's been out, but they're waiting for another delivery. They should be out towards the end of December, so I should definitely be getting one of them. But I've always used that, and you'll see for the bivvy table I use it on the top as well, just stop stuff sliding around. So then inside that I have a bag. I have everything in bags so they don't get all jumbled and fall apart. So this here basically is it's what a sleeping bag come in once. Now these days we don't do that because your sleeping bags are actually fitted to your bed majority of the time, sleep systems. I kept this, well, because you never ever used to. You take your sleeping bag out of it, never could get it back in. But what I do with this is I made this as well. So basically it's a piece of paracord with a couple of carabiners on. So I what I do at night time is just rubbish bag like that, chuck it in there, that goes around there like that, clips on there, and then basically like that I clip that to a tree, your way tripod, or somewhere out the way so the rats can't get it. Because if you've got it in your bivvy at night time and you're in an area where it's bad for rats, they will come and get your rubbish bag. So that's purely for that. Obviously, fish lots of places. You are going to fish eventually where there's lots of rats. I mean, rats are everywhere. If you haven't seen my video about rats, go and look at it. There's some fantastic, fascinating facts about rats. The other thing I got in there is my Crocs. Good old Crocs, can't be without them. I have a little bag here, and basically what this has in is 2 sets of bags. So I've got my lavender bags, my purple ones, and my black heavy duty bin bags. My black, this is what I use for my rubbish, and this is what I use for my toilet. Again, they're in a bag purely because if you leave them in there, they unravel themselves, and I just can't be bothered with that. In this one, this is a little waterproof bag I've got that has my toilet roll in. I've got a spare gas canister. We all need a spare one of them. And then in this one, this is my homemade toilet. So basically what I did was went to B&Q, got some pipe lagging, wrapped it with some heavy duty, it's like insulation tape. I think it was not Gorilla Tape or duct tape, but something like that, but it's smooth, and basically just cut them so one goes on there, one goes on there. Basically what you do first though is you put one of the black bin bags in, that goes on there, that goes on there, that goes on there, and you have your homemade toilet. And it's cheap as chips. It cost me about, well, it was about £1, I think, £1.50 for the pipe lagging, and then the reeler tape was about 4 or 5 quid, but I only used a bit of the tape. So that goes on there, and you can then use that for a toilet. So because there are lakes, there are quite a few lakes that haven't got toilets, so you know you're going to need something. So the other thing I do is, as you can see up this end, I've got my bivvy table, it's my bed, and what I tend to do with this at night times, it puts it out of the way, but also is a second use or a third use or fourth use, is that just sits in there a treat. Hopefully you can see that there. And then I have my glasses, my remote control, and my phone on there. So it just sits there, so literally head's here, I just reach out and get them. And I can check the weather, answer messages or whatever. So it acts as a bivvy table as well. So there you go, that's what I use, 17 litre Fox bait bucket. I mean, they cost you, I don't know, 10 to 15 pound. So it's a cheap, it's a storage tub, it's a seat, it's a bivvy table, it's a toilet. It does everything, and it don't cost you a lot to set it up. Bit of pipe lagging, I think they're about a pound to 150 for a length. You cut it down, reel of gaffer tape or something like that. The reason I do the gaffer tape is it's when the pipe lagging itself is quite soft, so the bucket on the bucket edges, if you put it on the bucket edges and then sit on it, it will split. But with that lagging on that pipe, not the lagging, the tape on the pipe lagging, it lasts forever. I put that on about, well, before COVID, so 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still going strong. So yeah, you chuck that in. A couple of bin bags. I got the black bin bags to use as a toilet because they're thicker and stronger, and then I've got the purple ones because I got a lavender scent. Helps with the food, smell a bit. But so yeah, got the 2 bin bags. Chuck your gas canister in there, your Crocs in there, your other bits and pieces and toilet rolls. You may want to use different things. At one stage I had my bivvy lights in there as well. But yeah, you can put whatever you want in, but it acts as one cheap thing does 4 jobs. So, and then if you, in a month or two's time, the video for the Fox Power Barrel will be coming out, and you'll see where I put this. So it's quite handy if you're walking around a lake and you want to sit down and just sit in that swim and watch for a little while. Where I put this on the barrow is so easy to get to, take off and put back on, and you don't have to unload the barrow at all. So rather than just stand there, you can, if you think you're going to be there a while, you just pull it off, literally seconds, sit down, just sit in that swim, watch. Okay, no, chuck it back on the barrow, go to the next one. So that's coming up in about a month or two's time. I'm doing a full review on the Fox Power Barrow. So yeah, hopefully that's answered a few more of your questions. It may be a simple thing, but it works. So give it a try, it might work for you.